Nice, finally! God motherfucking damn it! Hey guys, welcome to another episode in the playthrough of Gran Turismo 5. Just making sure the recorder was on, because I really did a lot of retries, not only today but also in between episodes yesterday and I think also the day before. God damn it, this was a tricky race, and it is probably a very doable race if you run it on soft tires. But I thought like, okay, let's just go with the default sports hard tires without any assist, so no traction control, nothing, maybe ABS at one. But yeah, that's basically no assist. And I actually was not aware only until today that you can actually see the tire compound of the AI. I don't think you can even see that in GT7, or maybe you can also see it in the replay, I don't know. But in GT5 you can see it in the replay. So you see over here all these cars are on sport soft. And that makes, of course, a huge difference in a curvy track like this. And also the F40, wow, it's an amazing car. It really was an enjoyable race. I didn't mind doing it for 50 or 100 retries. But it was not the highest performance points car. For example, that Ferrari Enzo, that was, it started like 2 places behind me. But that is... yeah, it's on a totally different level how fast that car is. And also weirdly that 512 BB that was finished in started in second place. This is the start grid, by the way. So here you also see that Enzo. Yeah, that Enzo is in 9 and we were in starting at 7. So here's the Enzo, here we are. And this 512 BB, don't ask me why, it's a way older car, but it's super fast. It was often really a race, almost always against that 512 BB. Only in the last couple of attempts did I easily get behind that Ferrari 599. That normally the 512 overtakes the 599 in the chicane. It will be in first place, the 599 in second. But I even had a really hard time passing that 599. And yeah, now I knew that I was at such a disadvantage, not only the performance points, but also tires, which by the way in this game do not have an impact on performance points, which is really weird, because if you have like soft tires, you are a much more quicker car, of course, so your performance points should go up. Apparently maybe that is not done because the softer tires, they do wear out faster than the hard or the medium tires, which have less grip but more durability. But that doesn't really matter if you have like a 3-lap race. So then still, if you're on soft tires, you have a huge advantage. But yeah, so I only noticed that really today, because yesterday and the day before I was like, okay, maybe the AI is also on hard tires. I just need to get better. But no, they really had an advantage, tire-wise, so grip-wise, but also performance point-wise, because the F40 really is, I think, the lowest on the field. Not by a huge margin, but compared to the Enzo, I do think it's 60, 70 performance points or something. So yeah, it's quite significant. So the start of the race, that's really where I had to gain a lot of places, and it is always a bit messy. I really try to be as clean as possible, not really use the opponent's cars as bumper cars, like helping me through the corner, just ramming them and drive them out of the race and get ahead yourself. That's not how I wanted to win, but it really was nearly impossible getting to that first chicane without any contact, which I also don't mind that much. You have the 12 racing cars, also in real life probably there's quite some scrubbing going on there. It's a super tight bottleneck that you all have to get through. But yeah, in this one it was also not super clean, but I did get, yeah, and what I did do is that second chicane after the first long right-hander, yeah, I drove a bit over the curbing there, but otherwise there's really on hard tires no way. Yeah, actually there is a way in the S's at the back section to overtake that 599. But the problem is if you only overtake the 599 there, then the 512 BB, which at that time is in first place, will really have pulled quite a gap, so to say. So yeah, it was not the cleanest, but I've been doing this literally for I think 100 retries or something. Yeah, it is what it is. I cut the chicane a little bit over there, but on the other hand also in later laps the AI is also bumping me, so it is not like I need to be the most innocent, the holiest of holy ones. So yeah, I was at a quite significant disadvantage. So I did have to resort to, I wouldn't call it dirty tactics. If I wouldn't have need to do it, I wouldn't have cut that one. Although I was carrying in that first lap a little bit too much speed, I think, going into that chicane. So there really was no other way than to cut it a little bit, except maybe going wide into the gravel pit, and then I would have lost the race anyway. So if there would have been another way, I would have done it, but there was no other way. But yeah, I will take it because I was at such a disadvantage. It's just leveling out the playing field a little bit. But what you also notice, once I got, after that first chicane, after the, in second place, after passing the second place car, I got in second place. Then in the S's at the back straight, the 512 BB, somehow, if you are only, even not besides it, but behind it I noticed that a couple of attempts earlier as well, it is super slow. It suddenly starts to brake. So that's where I just could almost unrealistically overtake that first place car, because it just totally took out all of its own speed. Fine by me, because it's not so much, this race is, it's of course getting into first place, but the main part there, and that is what you will see in the replay, I will do one first person view replay and one external camera, but in the first person camera, it is, look in the rear view mirror, this race is all about defending. It is all about trying the faster cars from not overtaking you. So yeah, I cut the passing the second place car, cut the first chicane a little bit, I think. In the second and third lap, I did think that I did try not to do that, at least. Also passing the first place car, the 512 BB. Yeah, it was, I didn't do anything wrong, but that car simply starts to brake in the middle of the S's. Now, fine by me. But it's of course getting into first place, but the major part of this race then, and that is just as hard as getting into first place, is keeping first place, because the other cars really are much quicker, and you only need to make one mistake or not one defensive line, especially with that Enzo, if that is behind you, and it just blasts past you, and yeah, and then it's really hard to catch up again. But yeah, so it's mostly, it's 10% of the race trying to get to first, and then 90% of the race defending to keep first. But yeah, for this attempt, finally it did work out. Let's see. All right, let's just start. No, we want our own car. Where are we? I don't know which camera. Here we go. All right, let's start over. Here we go. Over here it's already defending, trying the Enzo, keeping the Enzo behind me. And here, brake at the 150 meters sign. Here, yeah, contact is barely avoidable. Actually, it went relatively clean. And there, they just drive away. They're just quicker, more grip, more performance points. And over here, brake at the 200 meter sign once it passes your rear view mirror. And here I did, yes, cut the track a bit, but it is what it is. I didn't have that good of a last corner there, the exit. Yeah, it is what it is. It was enough to still, in the upcoming S's, to get to the 512 BB. Brake at the 200 meter sign. Here, they're quite slow. So here, I'm behind him. But here, he just, I don't know what he's doing. He's just totally lifting off. So fine by me. But now it's all about keeping them behind me. Watch the rear view mirror. It's continuously, there's a threat in your mirror. I'm diving here to the inside, to the right, because often that's where they overtake you. And you cannot really see that in your rear view mirror, so you have to go to the right to see where they are. Right, brake a little bit before there's like a little tarmac section. You see he's behind me now, or besides me. There's a little tarmac section. He's also besides me now, I think. I really got lucky there. But anyways, before the braking point, at least in this car on hard tires, for the chicane there is a little side piece of tarmac, then a little piece of grass, and then the 200 meter sign. It depends on how quick you are. If you are coming in there while drafting, for example, behind the Enzo, then you need to brake earlier because you have a higher speed. Then you brake at that tarmac side path, so to say. But if you are in first place, so you have no draft, you have the full wind resistance, you go a bit slower, then you brake in the middle of the grass patch between that tarmac side street and the 200 meter sign. That's where that's a good braking point. But that is, of course, depends exactly what car you use, what tires you use. This car is totally stock F40 on hard tires. And I really got lucky here because that somehow even I braked, I think, at the right moment. But that the chicane itself was super messy. I was almost standing still at the exit, so I was really lucky that they didn't overtake me like left and right. But that's the advantage of a chicane. It's like a bottleneck, so there's not really room for the other cars to do a lot. It's like how do you call it? Yeah, indeed, a bottleneck, like a narrowing passage. Alright, so here you go. Here is the left concrete patch. So if you're going really quick, you have to brake at the end of this patch, so around there, a little bit back. And if you're going in first place, no drafting or anything, then usually be between the left side little path and the grass over here. In the middle of that grass patch between the tarmac patch and the 200 meter sign. So approximately like 1-2 meters after where we are now. So approximately over here you start to brake. Can I see my braking input somewhere here? Yeah, I don't think I'm braking. Yeah, you see the flickering one, and a little bit to the left of it you see 2 bars. The right one is grey, that is throttle I think. The left one is red, that's braking. And you see that I'm already starting to apply the brake now. It's also maybe that little bump that I got that unsettled my car. It's really messy here. I'm basically standing still. We're like doing 48 kilometers an hour now. We all went all the way back to 41. And you see in the rear view mirror, you see the fast cars already lining up for their exit. So how I managed to not get overtaken here, I don't know, but yeah, happy with it. I did immediately dive to the right to close the gap, but the 512 BB I do think is besides us now. Yeah, you see it over there to the right. And over here, at least in this car on hard tires, once the 200 meter sign passes just before the rear view mirror, yeah, that's the braking point. And I'm trying not to cut the chicane, and actually I don't mind really that much having cut it a bit the first time around, because now the AI is doing the exact same thing actually. It's cutting the right hand corner of the chicane. I'm trying to be gentle, but here I already get a bump. He's actually in front of me now, and yeah, he's doing the exact same cutting as I did, and it is maybe because there's no room for him, but he could also just have stayed behind me instead of going besides me and cutting the corner. So it is, everybody is doing it, so I feel a bit less bad of overtaking that, getting second place in the first lap by cutting this chicane a bit. I forgot, it really was quite an eventful race. I even lost first place. But I knew, because this is basically the same situation I was in the first lap. Now I'm actually closer to him than I was in the first lap. I knew that in those S's he would be super slow again. So probably that's why I was not too worried about him overtaking me here. Because a good chance that I could get him back on the upcoming S's, which indeed was the case. A bit of a drafting, bit of slipstream always helps. And here as well, once the 200 meter sign crosses your rear view mirror, just like the first chicane, that's your braking point. Now I could actually take him already over here, just out braking. I mean, there was a bit of contact, but that was more him bumping into me than the other way around. This is a very tricky corner. It's easy to go wide and lose all your speed. So you really have to still lift off a bit and very gently apply the power here, at least in my experience. I even hit the gravel pit a bit, and you indeed immediately hear the revs going back and losing speed. So this was not a good exit, but luckily it was enough. He actually helped me a bit with that bump, like turning in rotating the car in the right direction. Thank you for that. Thank you. Here at the end, here, you heard the revs momentarily struggling a bit, going down. That's because of all the speed you lose from that runoff area. And you see in the rear view mirror, it is constant pressure. And what sometimes happened in other attempts, and I was happy that, or lucky that it didn't occur in this one, but is that you're defending against one car like this 512BB, but then the Enzo just takes totally different line and just passes both of you, both cars that are fighting each other, and that could just as well happen over here. I don't know why that Enzo kept behind all the cars neatly in one line. He could have just as well gone to the right and passed both of us. But yeah, lucky that it didn't happen. Somehow that Enzo and the 599 in the rear view mirror, they lifted off or something. They are much slower. I don't know why, but yeah, whatever. By the way, the braking point for this corner, also an important one. You have the 200 meter sign, and then you have, like, I don't know, lamp posts in the middle, just in the middle between the brake markers, the braking point signs. You brake, yeah, just right in between 200 and 100. So that is at that upcoming lamp post in the fencing. So that would be over here. This is where you start to brake. You also see probably like 1 second after now, you will see to the left of the flickering 2, like the gear indicator, you will see the left braking bar fill up fully. There it goes. Here you really have to be patient, lift off, try to maintain constant speed, so maybe a bit of throttle, but like 30% or 25%. Until you feel that the corner slightly opens up and you can straighten up your steering wheel, and once you do it, you can also progressively apply more throttle. And not you can, you should, because otherwise you will get overtaken in this exit. So over here you see it in the gray bar to the left of the second gear, of the gear indicator, to the left of the 2. You see I'm already now full throttle again. And again, I'm trying to keep to the right as much as possible, because that's a blind spot. Because yeah, you don't see that, you only see the left part of the rear view mirror. And I had it several times that the Enzo suddenly just blasted by to the right. So you really need to know what's happening behind you. So I go to the right to see what is going on over there. Because I now see that to the left there's not really any threat. You see there the 512BB comes into view. And the funny thing of this race is, it's a really dynamic race for me. It's one of my funnest attempts, because it is not only that I got into first place, yeah, maybe a little bit cutting that first chicane to get into second and then into first. But then I lost it again, so we switched around first and second place. I was back in second. But now it's also not only a fight with the 512BB, but I think that now actually the Enzo is the car that will be in second place. That is overtaking the 512BB, because the Enzo by far is the quickest car on the grid. Yeah, that makes for quite a varied race, so to say, as regards to opponent, as regards to position. First starting in, I don't know, 7th, then first, then second, then first. The first half of the race, the fight with the 512, then the last part with the Enzo. It was just a pretty fun race. So you see, I got a bump from the Enzo, so the AI is really quite rough, but fine. If I get a little bit of extra speed from that, I will take it. But I do know now that I'm carrying that extra speed. Now I will not be braking what I explained to the left. You see the tarmac patch and then the 200 meter sign. Normally I brake in the middle of, in between them, in the grass patch, between the tarmac path and the 200 meter sign, right in between. But now I'm carrying more speed because I got like this bump from the Enzo. So I will now be braking earlier. I will be braking just as that tarmac patch ends. So before the grass patch. Here, that would be right about here. And there I go on the brake. Otherwise you will overshoot this corner. The chicane. Chicane went much better than the other time, than in the second lap. But you see immediately, even after the chicane, I pulled a tiny gap, but the Enzo, within 1 second, the Enzo is right back behind you. Here, so braking that go all pretty decent. This as well, pretty okay. And now I have a pretty okay exit. You see in the rearview mirror there's a tiny gap. The 512 is actually now back in front of the Enzo again, at least I think so. And I do think that the Enzo was in second momentarily. Let's see. Let's look at the driver, the list to the right of on the screen. So the Enzo is now in third. It never really got into second actually. So somehow the 512 BBs, probably to my left, was still in front of the Enzo. They're side by side, so to say. So I'm pulling a gap here, but then see how quickly the Enzo closes that gap. Here, there he is. Right, I'm keeping to the left here so that he doesn't overtake me on the left, but he actually, again, also cuts that chicane. So I'm really closing it, trying to squeeze him off. But yeah, he's bumping me continuously, both of them. Really, this is all about defending, closing the door. I really didn't take that corner very well. It was much slower than other attempts, but it really was all about closing off the ideal line. If I would go wide, he would for sure have snuck into the gap and overtook me. And if the Enzo overtakes you here, yeah, there's basically no way you catch him anymore. There were also, by the way, it is random when you really close the game or you go to the main menu and back into the race. The grid position a bit of the opponents. The cars are mostly the same, but their position can be different, starting position. I tried to because I really wanted to win the race with the position, with the grid that I was allotted when entering the race first time. So that was in the previous episode. So I tried to do that with a safe state, because that's possible with the emulator, that you really continue exactly from where you left off, like also mid-race or in a race. And that indeed worked, that save state. It's like I could start the game again and be with the exact same starting order as I was during the last play session. But my steering wheel didn't work with that save state, so it didn't really work. So then in between episodes I was like, okay, I just have to randomly start over and take a starting position which is more or less similar to the one that I had in the previous episodes. But what I also noticed is sometimes in the starting position, the Enzo starts first. In this race, the Enzo started 9th, so 2 places behind us. And then even I had to already, right from the start, try to hold him off. But when he starts in first place, I didn't really try it that much, because it was also not how I started this race initially. But I think it's barely possible to win then, at least on hard tires, because the Enzo is so much faster. And also if it's on soft tires, it is crazy. Unless there is some rubber banding in the game, that the game slows him down a little bit, so that you have a little bit of a chance. But I don't think so. I think it will be very difficult. If doing this race with this car on hard tires, default, no upgrades or anything, with the Enzo starting in first and you starting in 7th. But anyways, why I'm also saying this is that I started this play session today, and I'm pretty sure that I'm 99.9% sure that we have the exact same starting grid as we had when I initially started this race in the previous episode. So that is a really nice circumstance. That's a bit of luck. I didn't even need to try and find a starting position of the opponents that's more or less similar to the one when I started this race initially. Because the save state didn't work there, so I was like, initially I was thinking, okay, I will just try to find more or less a similar race. No, I got lucky and I have the exact same starting position, so that is pretty fun. But what I do know from that is also with a couple of attempts with the Enzo starting in first. Pretty sure that if the Enzo would have overtaken me here, it would be really tough getting back that first place, so to say. Sorry, I'm really rambling. But yeah, that is all going off on a tangent on starting positions. But what I wanted was saying is that this last corner, it was by sure not the fastest one that I took, the fastest attempt of me going through that corner, but that is solely because I'm trying to keep that, I'm driving defensively, I'm really trying to keep that Enzo behind me. Somehow they're quite slow through here, I'm really pulling a gap here. But then the Enzo is back in a second, you will see. Here he is, he's closing the gap like a madman. And this is also tricky. He could take the inside line here and just out-accelerate you. So I'm really diving to the inside, to the right, because I know that's where he often goes. But luckily it was enough, so really happy with that one. There was one attempt in this play session before this one where I was indeed also in front of the Enzo in the last lap on the straight, and then I totally missed the braking point for the last right-hander. Super stupid. I went into the gravel pit. But not this time. Alright, let's watch one, because that's always in this game a bit my reward. I really like watching the replays in this game, they're so cool. They're really like almost watching a race movie. Compared to GT7, I think it looks better, it's more fun to watch. I don't know what it is, the camera angles, the color tone, it just looks more realistic. The types of cars, road cars, or supercars, but road going supercars, instead of all the emphasis on race cars in the Group 3 cars in GT7. I like this so much better. So I will watch it now once, and I will not, probably not, I don't guarantee it, but pause it anymore. But let's just watch the external camera replay. So here we go. Oh shit. That's a bit stupid. I have, of course, I should select the correct camera. So here we go. Man, it looks so good, this game. God damn it, almost 15 years old. Alright, so there's a bit of slowdown in the emulator. There's a lot going on the screen now. Yeah, this is a really heavy replay for the emulator. Man, what a game this is. So much variety. So many cool races. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, how cool is this? All kinds of Ferraris. All Monza, Italian circuit. And it's of course, you need to make it a challenge for yourself. It's like me sticking with those hard tires in an untuned car against opponents with higher performance points car and soft tires. But once you do win, it's such a cool game. For now, this is my favorite Gran Turismo actually. It has that old school vibe and feel with, to me, modern day graphics still. Maybe I will give Gran Turismo 6 a fair chance. I really didn't give it a fair chance when it released. But maybe I do know that it's much more bare bones. So with that alone, with all the variety in this one, with I think Gran Turismo 6, I think also has the Formula 1 cars and the karting and maybe also the NASCAR, I don't know. But I don't think so actually. But maybe it does, I don't know. But for now, yeah, it's all the way Gran Turismo for me. I really respect Gran Turismo 4 for what it did, but these graphics, it helps so much with the immersion. I mean, Gran Turismo 4 for its time was amazing looking, but yeah, then this one comes along and it's just on another level with the premium cars, etc. Higher resolution. Very true to life lighting, I find, and shadows. But what the hell was I saying? Yeah, that it's just a super cool race, this one. Also the race types, like Ferrari, Festa Cavallino, or Fiesta, I don't even know what it's called, but it's the party of the little prancing horse, like the Ferrari emblem. That's the name of the event, the feast of the prancing horse, of the little horse, on Monza, on an Italian circuit. It's just a really nice setup, I find. This race was from start to finish pressure. Really cool. And also the F40, by the way, fun car to drive. It feels analog. You really feel indeed the turbo kicking in. You can spin the rear out quite easily, but you can still control it. It's just very fun, I find, driving model. Absolutely. Really defending all the way. This chicane went totally bad. I think because I got a bump. I don't know who bumped me. Yeah, it was the 512. Motherfucker. There we are side by side. I mean, how cool can you get it? I really pushed him a little bit to the inside, hoping he would back off, and he did. Here he's diving also on the inside. The right-hander. There he goes. He's actually in first place now. Side by side again. God damn it. So cool. Ah, he actually overtook me. But here somehow in these S's they're quite slow, so to take it back with a bit of contact. Here, that's where the Enzo came in like a madman and bumped me. Bum! Check out the speed difference with which he came in there. I went a bit to the right to block him. Here, almost 3 aside. Maybe I did cut the chicane a bit over there, but screw it. I was on hard tires. I can be afforded a little bit of slack. I really wanted to get out there as soon as possible because I didn't want to be pushed from the rear sideways. The 512 BB actually is also cutting the track. More of them are. Watch that one more time. So I am, yeah, the Enzo is also cutting the track over there a little bit, which I did. I don't think I cut that first curbing. I only did the second one. Yeah, I also cut the first one a bit, but the Enzo does exactly the same. And here, yeah, what can you do? I have much less grip, so I am cutting this chicane. But there goes the, why is the, I wonder why the 512 is also cutting it. Is that because he had nowhere else to go, or is the AI just programmed to also sometimes out of free will, or not free will, but just take advantage of cutting a curb a bit. Yeah, no, there is of course that Enzo on his inside, but yeah, he could have braked and not cut it. He cut it even, just like I did. The Enzo as well, it's 4 wheels off the track, so I don't feel too worried about cutting it a bit. There are more cars cutting it. Yeah, and here you will see how quickly the Enzo catches up. I pulled a bit of a gap. There he comes. Holy shit, side by side here. He's actually in first place. That's crazy. Holy shit. They're really, really pushing hard. .512 BBs losing, went in the gravel pit, or however you call it. And here it's again keeping the door closed. Let's see what that sign said. So I actually, I'm pretty sure I lost very briefly first place again there, right? Yeah, now it's first place for the Enzo. So twice I lost first place. Pretty cool. Also the damage, also on that Enzo, etc. It's so immersive. You don't have that in GT7. I mean, it's pretty superficial damage, although you can really get dents, but it's the scratch marks. They do indicate a fierce battle. It's really helped with my immersion, I have to say. At least for me it does. Right, I was curious about this sign, Butangas Group since 1948. I wonder whether that's fictional or not. No idea. Shall we look it up? Yeah, let's just quickly look it up just for fun. So we do Butangas. Yeah. That is a real life company. I mean, it has the same logo, etc. here on Google as it has when we do 1948. 1948. The story of Butangas began on December 13, 1948. It's I think an Italian company actually. Founded in Milan. So it for sure is a real life company. As I was secretly expecting. It's just such an amazing game, all the detail. Alright, here we go. Again, pulling a little gap here, but then the Enzo will be back in a sec. I mean, how epic is this? Like supercar cars from Ferrari, from different eras. One from the 80s, one from the, I don't know. So the F40 is 92 actually. But wasn't it introduced in 89? Or was that the, I think the 959, it's Porsche competitor, was slightly earlier. Let's see, Porsche 959. Now 86 even. Alright, and then we do F40. '87, holy shit, 86 and 87 indeed. So it is, it was 3 years in the 80s, 2 years in the 90s, or 3 if you also count. Yeah, so it's an 80s, 90s car, but then the Enzo Ferrari is, yeah, the 2000s car. Was there any supercar in between? Yeah, the F50 of course. I wonder whether the F50 is in the game. I don't think so. Maybe it's in GT6. It's also a pretty cool car. Although if I have to choose, I would go for the F40. Alright, but epic setup. Just it's an older one and a newer one. And the F40, it really looks analog to me even. The graphics, it's just so well done. The color tone, etc. It's not oversaturated, it just looks realistic. Really cool. You can also see how much wider actually the Enzo is. I don't really like the styling of the Enzo that much, or at all. The F50 is really pretty cool, I find, but F40 is a beautiful car, I find. Alright, and what I also didn't know about the F40 is that it actually uses as basis the engine of the 288 GTO. That one is just based on the 308 Ferrari, like the Magnum, the old school Ferrari, I think. At least the outside, the design of it, but the F40 uses I think a big part or the base engine of the 288 GTO, but with higher boost pressure from a twin turbos. Anywho, here we go. And trying to keep him behind me. Keep it on the insides. And there we go. Ah, no, here we go. There we go. Alright, from start to finish, an exhilarating race. I really was not expecting, when I started this event, I was like, okay, this is a super cool setup, La Festa Cavallino, with only Ferraris. And then I was a bit let down, like, oh, it's only one race of 3 laps. But it was one of the funnest races I had in a really long time. So yeah, in the pockets. I will also leave it be. That's still Thursday, I have to work tomorrow. It's almost 10 o'clock in the evening. So this episode will be solely dedicated, or will only be covering this one race. In the next episode, hopefully tomorrow evening, otherwise on Saturday, we will be doing the GT Championship. Let's quickly check how many. Holy shit! And it's also a championship, so we cannot stop mid-championship. Sartre, Nürburgring, Madrid, Cape Ring, and a very long layout of Cape Ring. I never saw that one. I only raced, I think, the periphery layout before, which I think is only the outside layout. And then Grand Valley Speedway, also a very cool track. So looking forward to that one. What cars can we use? No limitations. Goes all in the 600, so they're all race cars. But we will be figuring that out in the next episode. Maybe let's go with that. Now I wanted to say the McLaren, but I do want to be a little bit lower in the PP. Just to keep it a bit challenging. So we will find a cool car for that in the next episode. Let's now collect a reward, if any. Alright, California 2008, very nice. And did I already... I think we did reach the description already. Yes, I think over here it's also where it says, yes, based on the power plant for the Ferrari's Group B 288 GTO. So it was a race version of the 288 GTO. But anyways, that's where I read that. We read about it, we've driven it extensively, it was super fun. Really recommend this car, and I will mark it as done. I used the favorite star for that. And let's see our new car. Is that... Where is the new car? Ah, we first have to cash the tickets. Don't really like California, honestly. For me, from this era until now, so late 2010s, late 2000s, I lost interest, not only in Ferraris, but also in Lamborghini. I find the cars just boring. The sound is gone, it are all turbocharged engines with muffled sound, because the turbo is in between the engine and the exhaust, of course. So yeah, you don't have that natural screaming sound. Yeah, I just don't really like modern cars anymore. Also the McLarens, etc. It's all about that early 2000s, 1990s, 1980s, 70s, 60s. That's the golden eras. I find modern cars are just boring. That's also why I don't really like the modern cars, the Group B cars in GT7. The cars, I just don't really have a connection with them. I respect them for what they do, technically, but I think they're missing soul. They're missing character. Anyways, I'm rambling again. Ending it here, or I have to end it here, unfortunately. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you in the next one. For the meantime, don't forget, always keep on gaming. See you later.